Another disappointment from Hewlett-Packard this morning. The company cut its full-year guidance and forecasts third-quarter earnings 12% short of analyst estimates, citing weak consumer demand for PCs and poor positioning in its services business. The stock is getting hammered, folks. ISI analyst Abhey Lamba was expecting HP to raise its full-year guidance. He's on with the phone with us right now. So, Abhey, what's the biggest surprise to you? You thought HP was on track. It was going to raise guidance, if anything. Not only is it disappointing, some of the results that they've just reported, but they're cutting full-year guidance. What happened?
Yeah, I think, Eric, we thought this company had better control over its expenses and was going to manage its earnings in a much better way than they've shown. This is the second quarter in a row of them cutting revenues, and they've always shown very good discipline about meeting their earnings estimates. So them lowering earnings estimates for the year is a surprise. But given the memo yesterday, it's not as big of a surprise as it would have been if we hadn't heard of the memo.
And the memo you mentioned is the one that we actually broke here at Bloomberg. Leo Apotheker, the CEO's memo to many of his deputies, warning effectively of a tough third quarter.
Yep, that's the memo I'm talking about. And clearly, our checks had picked up that last quarter end was a tough closing for them. They were very aggressive in closing business. But the memo seemed to be indicating that there are bigger issues.
Abhey, we were talking a lot about earnings. What about revenue? There seems to be a break in the way that the company has been doing business. In other words, they're saying revenue is going to be lower as well. Is this more concerning?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the second quarter in a row that they've taken down their revenue numbers. We need to see what they say on the call to give us more color on it. At least in their comments over here, it seems like it's consumer PCs and services, which is really impacting them. And those are the two areas we're going to be listening hard.
Abhey, this is the second time in only 2 quarters as CEO that Leo Apotheker has disappointed investors and analysts. What does that say about his leadership of the company, if anything, or is he still effectively in a honeymoon and all of this is on Mark Hurd's head?
See, HP is a large company, and for Leo to kind of make changes very quickly is going to be tough. So we just need to give him a little more time to outline his strategy and see what he delivers.
But people thought that Mark Hurd was a superhero. Does this suggest that the company that Mark Hurd ran, or at least the company that Mark Hurd left behind when he was forced out, was in a much weaker position than people thought, and perhaps says something about what he might do at Oracle?
The thing with HP is that he did cut a lot of spending, especially on R&D, which is where HP needs to do a lot of catch-up. And this could be signs where they're investing really hard while revenues are suffering a little, and that's causing extra squeeze on the earnings. We just have to wait for the earnings call and see what management tells us.
Abhey, obviously you're going to be listening for a few specific things, as you told us, but I mean, what's the future of this company? Is this just proof that Apple's iPad has taken over the world as far as the PC space goes, the fact that Hewlett-Packard is saying it has so many problems with that particular unit?
See, I mean, on the PC side, clearly there is some impact from Apple's iPads, and we're seeing consumer sales push-outs and all that. But HP is much bigger than PCs. PCs are only 30% of its revenue and much smaller portion of its earnings. The issue in services where Apple is not really hurting them, that's kind of isolated to HP. They need to fix the services organization.
Now, is that to say, Abhey, that they need a cloud business? There has been some discussion that HP has to make an acquisition to get into cloud computing to be able to offer those kinds of services, which it can't right now. Is that fair?
They have been working on some of the cloud initiatives. Some of the services they offer are related to cloud, but you're absolutely right. They need to double down their efforts in that area because that's where the future of computing is.
Abhey, we're going to hear from Dell. Anything that you can extrapolate from Hewlett-Packard for Dell's earnings, or are Hewlett-Packard's problems company-specific?
It seems to be company-specific for now. Let's hear what they say on the call, but it's tough to extrapolate this information onto Dell. A lot of the things that we are seeing over here seem to be company-specific.
Now, HP stock is trading just north of $38 right now. Abhey, given what you've heard today, given what you saw in the memo, and given what you think you might hear on the call, is that an appropriate price for Hewlett-Packard, or should this stock trade lower?
See, we have a buy rating on the stock, and this is something which we'll have to just evaluate based on what the CEO says on the call.
All right, Abhey, thanks for joining us. Abhey Lamba, Managing Director and Analyst at the International Strategy and Investment Group. You know it as ISI.